The rain had finally eased off by mid-afternoon, but the sky over South London still hung low and grey, the kind of drizzle that clings to your coat and seeps into your shoes. Inside their semi-detached home in Clapham, Margaret Whitmore was halfway through her Saturday deep clean. She'd already hoovered the carpets, Brits rarely say vacuumed, preferring the brand-turned-verb hoover, and was now mopping the kitchen tiles with a mixture of warm water and lemon-scented all-purpose cleaner. Her arms ached. At 46, she wasn't as spry as she used to be, and Emma, her 20-year-old daughter, had promised to help. "Just need to pop out for a bit, Mom," she'd said that morning, already halfway out the door in that pink frock she loved so much. In British English, a frock is an old-fashioned but still understood term for a dress, especially a casual or feminine one. Emma's was cotton, knee-length with tiny white daisies, a gift from her grandmother. Charming, yes, but impractical for a rainy day, Margaret sighed, wringing out the mop. She'd asked Emma 3 times this week to tackle the dusting and sort the laundry, but each time, Emma had waved her off with a breezy, "I'll do it later, Mom. I'm not a child." And yet, here Margaret was, on her hands and knees scrubbing the skirting boards, while her daughter was off gallivanting with friends. Just then, the front door burst open. "Mom, you'll never guess what happened at the park," Emma called out, still on the phone. She stepped inside, muddy trainers still on, and strode straight across the freshly mopped hallway into the living room. Margaret froze. There, in stark contrast against the gleaming lino, were muddy footprints. Not just 1 or 2, 6 clear brown smudges leading straight to the sofa, where Emma flopped down with a dramatic sigh. "Emma Louise Whitmore," Margaret said, voice low but sharp as a knife. "Take your shoes off." Emma glanced up, blinking. "Oh, sorry, Mom." She kicked off her trainers haphazardly near the radiator, one landing upside down. "It's only a bit of mud. Won't hurt anything." "Only a bit?" Margaret stepped into the living room, arms crossed. "I've been hoovering, mopping, wiping down every surface since 9 this morning. I asked you to help. You said you would." Emma rolled her eyes. "I'm 20, Mom. I don't need to be told to clean like I'm 5. And I was out with Chloe, her boyfriend proposed. It's not like I was clubbing." "That's not the point," Margaret said, her voice trembling slightly. "It's about respect. For this home. For me. You knew I was cleaning. You saw the buckets, the cloths. And you walked right in with muddy shoes on purpose, it seems." "I didn't, Mianto." Emma snapped, sitting up. "You're making a mountain out of a molehill." But Margaret had reached her limit. In modern British families, while discipline has become more conversational and democratic, there remains an expectation of mutual responsibility, especially when adult children live at home. Emma acted like a guest, not a family member who shared the burden. "Get up," Margaret said firmly. "Why?" "Because you're going to clean your mess. Now." Emma crossed her arms. "No. I'm not a kid you can order around. I'll do it later." "You've said that all week," Margaret replied, her voice quiet but resolute. "And later never comes. If you won't act like an adult who takes responsibility, then perhaps you need a reminder that actions have consequences. Even at 20. Before Emma could protest, Margaret guided her gently but firmly onto her stomach on the floor. She lifted the hem of the pink frock just enough and delivered 3 swift, light paddles with her hand. More symbolic than harsh, but enough to startle. Emma gasped. Not from pain but from shock. Her face flushed crimson. No one had done that since she was 12. Silence hung thick in the air. Margaret's hand trembled slightly as she stepped back. "I didn't want to do that," she said softly. "But you left me no choice. This isn't about punishment. It's about you understanding that living here means pulling your weight." Emma stayed still for a long moment. Then slowly she pushed herself up. Her eyes were glistening, but she didn't cry. Instead, she walked to the utility cupboard, pulled out a clean cloth, and knelt by the muddy prints without a word. She began to scrub. Margaret watched, heart aching. She remembered Emma as a little girl, always trailing mud, always apologizing with wide eyes. Now she was a woman, but still learning what that truly meant. After a few minutes, Margaret fetched the mop bucket and set it beside her. "Here," she said, handing Emma the mop. "The hallway needs another pass." Emma took it, nodding. They worked in quiet tandem, Emma mopping, Margaret wiping the baseboards. The tension eased, replaced by the soft slosh of water and the scent of lemon cleaner. Later, over cups of tea, proper builder's brew, 2 sugars for Emma, none for Margaret, Emma finally spoke. "I'm sorry, Mum. I really am. I keep thinking because I'm at uni and have my own life, I don't need to be here properly." Margaret reached across the table, squeezing her daughter's hand. "You'll always have your own life, love. But home isn't just a roof. It's a shared space. And shared effort." Emma smiled faintly. "Next Saturday, I'll start cleaning at 8. Promise." Margaret chuckled. 8 might be pushing it, but 10'll do. Outside, the rain began again, soft, steady, very British. But inside, the air was clear. Evening settles over the Clapham Street, the last amber light of autumn fading behind terraced rooftops. Inside the lounge, now spotless, smelling faintly of lemon polish and Earl Grey, the young woman sits cross-legged on the floor in her pink daisy-patterned frock, now clean at the hem but still softly wrinkled from the day's events. Her muddy trainers have been left outside the back door, replaced by fuzzy gray socks. Her blonde hair is loose again, catching the warm glow of the table lamp. The older woman, still in her navy blouse and gray trousers, places 2 fresh mugs on the low coffee table, a proper lounge in British parlance, though many still call it the living room or even the front room depending on the region. She settles into the armchair opposite, her ponytail finally undone, brown hair falling around her shoulders. No words are needed. The silence isn't heavy. It's the kind that comes after honesty, after boundaries have been drawn and respected. On the sideboard, a framed photo shows the same 2 figures years ago. A little girl in a pink dress, grinning with muddy knees, held up proudly by a younger version of the woman now sipping tea across from her. The young woman reaches for a digestive biscuit, breaks it in half, and offers a piece without looking up. The older woman takes it with a small, tired smile. Outside, a neighbor calls to their dog. A bus rumbles down the high street. Life goes on. But inside this modest British home, something has shifted. Not in grand gestures, but in muddy footprints cleaned in shared silence, in the quiet dignity of being seen not just as a daughter or a mother, but as 2 people trying their best under the same roof. And sometimes that's enough.